Welcome to MMAPlay365. I'm Newsome and I'm here to give you a Base AI recap from our UFC prediction software from last weekend's event at UFC Jacksonville. Just across the straight pick prediction accuracy, Base AI did hit 75%, 9 out of 12 fights correct. Obviously there was 13 fights on the card, but the Tabatha and Austin Lane fight was a no contest from that early eye poke, so we can't factor those into the results. So 9 out of 12 correct, 75%, a real good event from a straight pick prediction accuracy, but also more importantly, Base AI picked a number of good underdogs as well, which were in close fights, there's no denying that, but underdogs that had value and eventually will have cashed you the betting tickets as well. So even outside of the straight pick prediction accuracy, we've got some real good stuff to talk about, methods of victory as well, and some just solid predictions overall. So let's jump straight into it. We're going to start in the value section with the three underdogs that Base AI did slightly favour, so technically they were correct predictions, but also they were underdogs and they would have been cashed betting tickets as well. The first one, Jenkins versus Jamall Emmers. Jenkins to win, Base AI had at 57%. Now at 57%, the odds implied there is minus 133, so Base AI was saying that Jenkins should have been a very slight minus 133 favourite. Instead, you'd have got anywhere from plus 130 to plus 175. Plus 130, I think, was about where it opened, and then it did get bet out to minus 175. I personally took minus 170 on Jenkins. Now, of course, it was a close fight. I personally thought that Jamall Emmers won the fight, but look, when it's going to that close of a split decision where the rounds were close and it could possibly go either way, and there is a chance of it going either way, then you always want to be on that plus money side. That's the value side in those types of fights. And like I said, it was a correct prediction from Base AI eventually, because Jenkins did win the fight. His name did get called out as the winner. His arm got raised and you got a good underdog betting ticket if you'd have bet Jenkins using the Base AI predictions. Now, the next value underdog to talk about, this one wasn't as close, but still a split decision. We've got Joshua Van versus Zhalgas Zhumagulov. Now, Base AI, this is what I really like about Base AI. It does a very good job of picking UFC debutants, as long as they've got a decent amount of regional fights and data and statistics to be able to scrape. Base AI does such a good job, and because it does a good job on the UFC debutants, more often than not I do think that the debutants are underdogs, so you're cashing dog tickets on UFC fighters that you might not have ever heard of before. So that's one thing that I love about Base AI. And it's the same thing here. Joshua Van to win, Base AI had at 55%. So I'm not saying that, look, Base AI's got him up at 70, 75, 80% and he's super confident. But at 55%, its odds implied is minus 122. So what Base AI is saying is, look, Van should be the very slightest of favourites in this fight, but he wasn't. He opened it around plus 150. You could have got him up at plus 190. So not only have you got insane value on that money line, but you're also cashing a dog ticket for a UFC debut fighter that you might have never have heard of before. So again, it just adds that trust into Base AI and the data that it provides and mashes together inside the algorithms, pulls out something that is worth betting on. So a real good underdog prediction from Base AI. And now moving on, another underdog in this value section, we've got David Onama versus Gabriel Santos. No controversy here. Onama knocked him out in the second round. Base AI had Onama to win at 54%. The odds implied at 54% is minus 117. So Base AI was basically saying that Onama, look, it was a coin flip fight. Onama should have been just outside of a pick'em, the very slightest of favour. You can't get more of a or less of a favourite than this, a very slightest of favourites at minus 117, but still, Onama opened up at around minus 180, you could have got him anywhere from he opened up at plus 180, you could have got him anywhere from plus 175 to plus 190 using Base AI's prediction software, and of course, tough start for Onama, but he ended up coming back into the fight, knocked Gabriel Santos out, and this was one I was quite surprised on because I really like Gabriel Santos. I thought he should have beaten Lerone Murphy on the scorecards. It was, again, one of those close fights, I think, that went the wrong way. But Gabriel Santos has got some serious qualities about him, and we even saw that in the first round. So when AI was favouring David Onama, I kind of looked at it and writ it off as one of those that are potentially going to lose. But once again, AI, as always, proving me wrong and proving that, more often than not when we go head to head, it knows best. So yeah, David Onama, a really, really good underdog pick from AI. However, still staying with this Onama versus Santos fight, here comes the education piece, because you can take it one step further. You don't need to stop with the straight outright pick and prediction for Onama to win at 54%. Sure, there was value there, insane value, because you can get plus 175 to plus 190 on something that AI is saying that should be minus 117. But you go one step further, Onama to win inside the distance. So that's adding up the submission and the knockout percentages together. Of course, like I said, Onama did knock Gabriel Santos out. So if you're not sure about the submission or the knockout and you don't want to take that chance, add the percentages together, you'd get 52% or almost 52%. Now at 52%, the odds implied is minus 108. So still, we haven't gone into plus money yet for Onama, or plus money for odds implied for Onama to finish Gabriel Santos inside the cage. So for minus 108, you're actually getting plus 300 at the bookies on the betting lines. And man, that is an insane amount of value. And it would have been a cash ticket as well. Like I said, we've not even hit the plus money for odds implied, and we're getting a plus 300 ticket at the bookies. So once again, perfect by AI, and we are going to go one step further again. The KO TKO, of course, as I've already mentioned, that's how the fight ended. The knockout and TKO, AI had at 32%. So this is now you're taking your submission out and you're just risking the knockout. So the knockout, AI had at 32%. The odds implied there is plus 213. At the bookies, you'd have got a plus 480 ticket. So plus 213 to plus 480. There is still an enormous amount of value there. But look, if you were going to bet this fight, or if you did bet this fight and you were looking at which way to take it, for me, using the AI predictions and the percentages, I think the right move should have been Onama to win inside the distance, because Onama to win outright was 54%, but for him to win inside the distance was nearly 52%. So there's only just over a 2% difference between the outright winning and the inside the distance. And the actual difference that you're getting on the betting, well, the difference in the odds implied probability is Onama minus 117 to win, or Onama inside the distance minus 108. So there's only a few cents difference on the line. But actually at the bookies, there's a massive difference between plus 300 and plus 175. So Onama inside the distance would have been the more preferred way to bet this fight, in my opinion, from looking at where the percentages were. But again, if you'd took the straight win, the inside the distance or the KO, that have all been a cash ticket, that have all been plus money, and that have all been happy days for that person cashing that ticket in. And the final winning underdog to talk about from the value section, we've got Sedriques Dumas versus Cody Brundage. Now, Dumas to win was 51%, so this is just a real coin flip. AI was saying that flip a coin and, it's going to land on either side, one of the sides, and, that's where they're seeing the fight. Now, at 51%, odds implied minus 104. Now, Dumas did open a plus 100, very, very slight underdog, of course, but Cody Brundage actually got steamed at the bookies. So Dumas ended up being anywhere between a plus 140 to plus 160 underdog, depending on, when you bet him throughout fight week. So even at minus 104, plus 100, there is still some value there. But the plus 100 was the opening line. Where it settled was around the plus 150, plus 160. So you're getting an insane amount of value there on the straight pick prediction of AI. Again, another solid prediction from a fighter that made his UFC debut just a few weeks ago. Didn't look great at all, but AI knew that Dumas had something. And that something was a coin flip. But a coin flip where Dumas was a plus money underdog, and this was the right time to jump on Dumas. And like I said, AI had that coin flip. And although, again, you can't, some people might say, oh, well, AI wasn't confident. Well, AI wasn't confident to a point where it was a coin flip. But again, when you're comparing a coin flip to odds at the bookies, if Dumas was a minus 150 favourite, you'd have gone the other side for Brundage with the value. And obviously Brundage didn't really look good at all. It was a bit of a shocking performance. But the bottom line is, Not only did Base AI slightly favour Dumas, it wasn't obviously with anything with a ton of confidence, but when you're just playing the numbers game, using betting theory and the maths that come along with it, Dumas was the right side to bet. Dumas was the correct prediction from Base AI, and another solid prediction. And the final fighter to talk about in the value section, we've got Neil Magny versus Phil Rowe. Now, this was actually an incorrect prediction, but again, I just wanted to talk about the value behind it. So, Phil Rowe to win, Base AI had at 46%. So, Base AI did pick Neil Magny to win, and it was a correct prediction, actually. And I know I've just said this was an incorrect prediction. I was incorrect. It was a correct prediction. Base AI picked Neil Magny to win at 54%, and Neil Magny did win the fight. However, when you're looking at value, like Phil Rowe at 46%, the odds implied is plus 117. So Rowe to win at plus 117, you then go to the bookies and you're getting anywhere from plus 140, plus 150. I actually bet Phil Rowe at plus 150. Now, this fight was the epitome of a split decision fight. When it went to a decision, I actually said, look, I've got no idea which way this is going to go. It's definitely going to be a split decision. There's no way that 3 judges agree on the overall winner of this fight. And that's how it played out. And Neil Magny ended up taking that split decision. However, although if you'd have bet Rowe on the 46%, obviously Base AI was already predicting Magny to win, but there was no value in betting Neil Magny when his percentage was 54%. The value is actually on Phil Rowe here at 46%, because if you keep on betting these very close split decisions that literally could go either way, and you're on the plus money side each time, long term, you are going to profit. Like, you will long term as an underdog, picking all the underdogs in split decisions. Eventually, that's going to turn out in your favor long term. So, even though this was a correct prediction from Base AI, the value was actually on the other side. And this is the reason why I just wanted to talk about this fight, just from the education perspective. It's not just about picking winners, picking the 54% just because that's where Base AI had. If you are wanting to make money long term, you'd have looked at Phil Rowe at 46%, plus 117, and then looked at the odds and saw him at plus 140 and plus 150 and decided that's where the value is. And to be honest with you, I thought Phil Rowe edged the fight, but regardless, a very close split decision with the value side, the right side to bet on, was actually not the winner. Right, now we're going to run through a couple of the solid winners. So the first one, Tabatha Ricci versus Gillian Robertson. Now, Ricci to win was 53%. Odds implied there, minus 113. So, minus 113, you go to the bookies, you're looking at anywhere from minus 125 to minus 140. So, there's no value really on that money line of Ricci on the straight pick prediction. However, Base AI did do a good job of picking Ricci to win by decision as the highest percentage. And that percentage was 29%. Now, at 29%, the odds implied is plus 245. At the bookies, you'd have got plus 125 to plus 135. So, again, no value there. If you were absolutely hell-bent on betting Tabatha Ricci to win the fight, you'd have gone for the money line, the straight pick, opposed to the decision, just because the implied probability and the actual odds were much closer than the method of victory with the decision. But again, for me, this is a fight that I'd have been looking at Base AI, looking at the percentages, comparing them to the bookies, and just staying away from this fight. Although it was a solid winner, just because Base AI did get the outright winner correct and also the method of victory correct. From a value perspective at the bookies, it's probably one that should have warned anybody that is looking to profit long term just to stay away from this fight. And sometimes it's just as important to know which fights not to bet on than which fights to bet on. So again, from an education perspective and from a pick perspective where it's actually not only delivering a correct prediction but also telling you that there is no value and to stay away from it from a betting perspective, it was really good work from Base AI, in my opinion, for the Tabatha Ricci fight. And next solid winner, we've got some good value here across the board. We've got Mateusz Rebecki versus Loik Radzhabov. Rebecki to win, Base AI had at 59%. Now at 59%, the odds implied is minus 144. So Base AI was saying that Rebecki should have been a moderate favourite at minus 144. But actually you'd have got Rebecki anywhere from minus 120 to minus 160. So depending on when you bet Rebecki and also where you bet Rebecki, because the bookies did seem to have this lined a little bit all over the place. So again, depending on where and when you bet Rebecki, you could have got some decent value on the money line, to be fair. I bet Rebecki at minus 125, so I was at the lower end of this. I bet him really early in fight week as well, before Base AI had their results out on the MMAPlay365 website. Like I said, I bet him really early. I got minus 125, so I got value compared to the Base AI implied odds as well. Now you can take this one step further. Rebecki to win inside the distance again. Rebecki's got power, but he's also a legit BJJ black belt, and he's got ADCC competition experience as well. So it could have been quite a tough task for somebody to be confident in the knockout or submission. So if you wanted to just eliminate chance, go for inside the distance, Rebecki to finish this fight in any way possible. 42% Base AI was saying the percentage was at 42%, the odds implied is plus 138. At the bookies, you'd have got anything from plus 200 to plus 250. So now we're starting to get into the plus money. Now we've started to get plus money value as well. Now, if you did want to be daring, and you did want to go for the KO TKO, which was the very slight higher percentage out there, two methods of victories between the knockout and the submission. The KO TKO was 25%. Now at 25%, the odds implied is plus 300. So at plus 300, you go to the bookies, you're getting plus 480 on the bookies odds. So again, you've got good plus money value there as well. If you're actually looking at all three percentages here and you want that education piece of which one would you have gone for, it's tough. If you're getting minus 120, I'd have probably said that, look, go for the straight pick, eliminate any methods of victory. But if you're not getting any value on that 59% and you are looking at your bookie that's got it at like minus 160, minus 165, then yeah, take the inside the distance at 42% and get that plus money value. I think the inside the distance was the smarter option outside of the straight pick prediction accuracy, because Rebecki does have that legit BJJ grappling game. I personally wouldn't have been comfortable saying, yeah, he's going to get the knockout rather than the submission. So I think, like I said, the KO TKO would have been nice, and it's a nice big cashed plus 480 ticket. But for me, either go for the value on the money line here if you can get the value, if not, inside the distance would have been absolutely fine. And the last section we're going to talk about, one more fight. We're in the bad losses, unfortunately, every now and again. And it really, I can't remember the last time I did a bad losses fight. I think it must have been maybe 4, 5, 6 events ago. So it's not often that it happens, but there was one in this event. Trevor Peek versus Chepe Mariscal. Now, Base AI had Trevor Peek to win at 72%. At 72%, the odds implied is minus 257. Peek opened at around minus 200. All the money came in on Mariscal. He closed around minus 125, so it didn't flip, but there's a big difference from that minus 200 opener all the way down to minus 125. And to be honest with you, although the fight was so fun to watch, it was a barn burner. There were bombs being thrown. It was untechnical. It was crazy. It was bonkers. But at 72%, Peek did get outworked over 3 rounds. He got taken down a couple of times. He got hit hard and rocked a couple of times as well. So it was a bad loss for the fact that Base AI did have it at 72%, which is quite a high percentage. The one thing I will say, though, in regards to this, and this is very important, and it's also coming in one of the updates that we've put into Base AI, we put in the traffic light system where you've got a high, medium, and low data quality. So Trevor Peek was actually on this fight, Trevor Peek versus Chepe Mariscal, was actually on the low data quality. So basically what Base AI was saying is, look, there was a minimal amount of data for this fight, but what it did find gave that prediction out, that percentage out. So that is something you've got to be mindful of. I'm not saying you've got to stay away from all low data qualities, because there is still data there. There is still data available for the AI to spin out predictions across the board, every possible outcome. It's just that the data was much lower than, a lot of the other fights that were either high. I think most of them were high. We had a couple of medium and one low, and Trevor Peek was the one low. So in all fairness to the AI, it did have it as low data quality with more data, with both fighters having more data available online. It might not have been 72% is what I'm saying, but still 72% was what was put out to the subscribers, and now obviously publicly on the results page on the MMAPlay365 website. So it's got to be owned, but yeah, definitely a bad loss at 72%. And that's all for this UFC prediction software recap from Base AI. We'll be back again next week, breaking down or recapping, shall I say, UFC Vegas 76, which is actually a really fun fight card. So I'm interested to see, as always, what Base AI has got in store for us with the predictions for that event. So again, if you are interested in the AI, make sure you tune back in again next week. I'm Newsome. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again next time.